conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Michael Bisping, thank you for the passion. Thank you for the enthusiasm, and thank you for your guts and your grit and your heart.
Bisping's so scrappy. Like, he's one of the most mentally tough guys in the sport because he doesn't have like some freakish Yoel Romero athleticism or anything. It's just hard work.
Michael Bisping, thank you for the determination.
Bisping's determination, the goals that he set for himself have not been shaken by that knockout.
It's one of the things that I respect about Bisping. You get beat that dominantly, then pick yourself back up and start fighting your way to the top again. That's Bisping's mentality.
Michael Bisping, thank you for the inspiration, sir.
Just out there trying to look after my family, look after my children, and give them the best life possible. The only way I know I can. This is what I do. I try.
Michael Bisping, you chased a dream and you did it by your own rules and in a way truly authentic to who you are. You inspired us and you became champion. Congratulations on a brilliant, one-of-a-kind career. And thank you for all of your fights.
Believe you may. Are you okay, Michael?
I'm totally fine, Lewis.
Are you sure?
Totally fine. Why would you be asking me that question?
Are you sure you don't need maybe a Kleenex or a tissue?
A little tissue just in case. Hey, Lewis, don't make fun out of me just because I had an amazing career and it had to end. Okay. First of all, that video there was by Robin Black, who will be calling into the show later, and he just sent that to me this morning, which I'm very touched about. Thank you, Robin. Very kind.
Well, I gotta say, it was created and edited by Dinislam_Maver on Twitter. Robin Black actually gave him credit for that. He'd shared it with you and wanted to give proper credit, but it was an incredible little tribute. That got everyone in the studio over here choked up. So if that didn't get you choked up, I don't know what will. Besides an interview with Ariel Helwani.
No, that didn't get me choked up. But what got me choked up was I was just doing the MMA hour just a second ago, and I was on there, and Ariel was asking me some questions about the best moment. One dear, he said, what is like one memory you will never forget, like a private moment, an intimate moment? And I said, well, it was after I fought, obviously, Luke Rockhold for the belt and won. And then afterwards, I was in the car, me, my wife, and the kids. And rather than going off to like some party or whatever, like, people might do, I drove my kids home and we're in the car and the kids are in the back and she's got the belt on her lap. And just such a long journey and this and that. Anyway, but as I'm saying it, I did get a little choked up and, almost start blubbering on air. So I know you've been texting me all kinds of obscenities, Lewis.
No.
But, there you go.
What type of sissy pants would cry on a podcast?
Sissy pants. Are you sure in private that's your go-to word, Lewis?
Yeah, sissy pants. That's exactly what I texted you.
Okay. Yeah, you did text me sissy pants.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to show you something really quick I think that you might enjoy.
What?
Okay.
I'm just going to play a little video real quick.
What are you doing? What's going on here? There's a little kid. Dude, love this movie. Then I'm watching it with my son now. Okay, we're watching this whole movie. And they finally come back together. Milo meets a cat and a female cat, and Otis meets a female dog. They have families, and they end up linking up afterwards with their families.
Unlikely.
They linked. And then Milo introduced Otis to his family. Man, that's really getting me right now. I gotta be honest. It's fucking
Darlene, I've heard so much about you. Milo can't shut up about you. At some point, I wish he would just shut up about it already. I'm just kidding. You're great. This place is great. Did you buy or you rent?
The point I'm making is it's a fucking beautiful story, man.
Are you kidding me, dude? He's getting kidding me.
Are you kidding me? Shannon's pulling up a time that I cried on a podcast. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Lewis. Mr. Tough Guy, Puerto Rican rattlesnake, real-ass dude, real-ass woman. Yeah. So listen, we're all men, we're all emotional human beings. Last week, obviously, I retired on the show, and this was a question that Ariel actually asked as well. Not a question that you didn't ask, Mr. Journalist. There we go. I got a lot of shit in the background here. He said on the podcast, you seem to skim past it pretty quick, and which I did because obviously, it's our podcast. But I don't want to spend all the time talking about me. So I did want to skim past it pretty quickly. But since last week, my word, the amount of messages, support, and things like that have come out have totally blown me away and taken me by surprise, to be honest. And I'm very, very thankful to everybody. So, yeah. Absolutely crazy, very emotional week, reading all those messages and things, and I thank everybody for all of them. But yeah, there you go.
I mean, yeah, dude, the amount of the support that you've gotten has been pretty goddamn incredible. I mean, from everybody. I read one thing. It was in some maybe some big UK newspaper where they just started talking to all the different fighters that you've influenced from the UK, and it was just like, dude, it was like everybody, and it was just, I mean, it couldn't have been any more of a Michael Bisping dick sucking session. I mean, just nonstop.
But there's nothing wrong with that, Lewis.
Of course.
But
it was great. It was really cool.
That was one of the ones that I'm actually referring to, because in that one, it had all these fighters, past and present, from the UK that gave special messages for me, and what my career had done for them, and the word inspiration and stuff kept coming up. And honestly, I had no idea that that's how other fighters in the UK felt about me. I had no idea. Of course, I recognized I was the first champion and I've been around the longest and all that type of stuff, but I didn't realize I was inspiring fighters and things like that. And for all those guys that said those nice words, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Has there, because it's been a week now, has there been anybody that's reached out that you've spoken to that you were kind of surprised?
I don't know if I've been surprised by anyone. Last week, after we did the podcast, I drove down to Connecticut, had some time there, and then I've been super busy. But Dana White called me, and he said, "So, is this right, Michael? What I'm hearing? You're retired?" And I almost backed out. I almost said, nah, I was just fucking around on the podcast, Dana. Because now it's the time. This is crunch time now. He said, is this true, Michael? You've retired? And as I say, I started giving myself, a backdoor exit, but then I said, no, fuck it. I said, yeah, it is. I said, you never know. I might be giving you a call in 6 months for a fight, so don't forget about me. And he said some really nice things, and I thank Dana for over the years. He's always been very straight with me. He's always been very fair. Obviously I've earned a lot of money with the UFC, and I'm very grateful for that. And Dana's always been, to use your expression, a real ass dude. So thank you. He said some nice things. He said some nice complimentary things, which I appreciate, and we're still going to work together down the line. I'll still be involved with the presentation side of things with the UFC, so you'll still be seeing my ugly mug around, and then after that I got USADA to remove me from the testing pool, so that stops me from being able to call up and say, you know what, I'll fight in 2 months. Now I'd have to go through the testing pool of 6 months, so it just concretes it even further, because I'll always feel I can take a fight, and if I see someone gets injured or whatever, I'll be like, here, fuck it, I'll jump in. Because you got to remember, not that I want to discuss my contract, but my contract's really good and I make a lot of money, right. And it's always, and as a guy, I always feel that I could beat these fighters, and I'm like, well, you know what, I don't need a full camp, because if it went down in the street, you got to be able to throw it down at a moment's notice. You can't say, hold on, let's meet at this spot in 2 months time when we both had a training camp. If shit hits the fan, it hits the fan.
If you meet a person at a bar, you can't be like, hey, you know what, hold on, I have to meet up with my nutritionist. We're doing this whole new thing. We're taking out red meats, and I gotta see.
You can't say, hold on a minute, I'm a little out of shape right now, I've been partying a little bit, I'm a little overweight, give me 2 months, let's meet here on this street in 2 months time, I'm going to train, I'm going to do this, and then we'll fight. It's like,
and by the way, we have to weigh in.
That's what I always said.
By the way, we got to weigh in beforehand, and we also have.
Exactly.
I also got to, now that you're out of the USADA testing pool, which to be honest with you, smartest thing you should do is just get on steroids. That's what I would do.
Well, that is not a good message to send. You know what steroids do to you? They stop your own ability to, create your own testosterone and things like that. So, I am not advocating that, Lewis. Not that I have a problem. If people want to do it, good for you. Yeah. If you're going to fight or you're going to compete in sport and you're doing that shit, then shame on you. You're a pussy. But,
Steroids are going to stop your ability from being a nerd. So,
nerd? Why being a nerd?
Yeah, because they make you have muscles and be awesome. So
that isn't. So if you have muscles, then you're no longer a nerd.
Yeah, basically. Come on.
correct, Lewis. That is very, very much incorrect.
I'm not a role model, okay?
So that was that. Retired. Last week was amazing. All the messages. And again, I just take this opportunity to thank everybody. I don't want to repeat the podcast. Lots to talk about. Massive fight card this weekend, UFC 225. Going to break that down. Robin Black's going to call in. He's going to give his opinions. Maybe you've got some questions for him. I don't know. And yeah, but so that is that. That is that. It's done. The fight is done. USADA, I'm out the testing pool. And I'll be a washed up broke fighter before you know it.
We'll see how Chuck Liddell does in his return fight. Chuck Liddell wins. We're going to see Michael Bisping come back with the quickness.
Exactly. You never know. In 8 years' time, 48 years old myself, looking not too good, I'm sure. So.
All right. Well, yeah, dude. We're gonna get Robin Black in a little bit. Dude, I'm chilling, man. You're back in LA. I'm coming out there for Father's Day, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't really celebrate Father's Day, but I'll do it on your account. You know, I did just I always double book myself in everything I do. I said to you, yeah, cool, you can come. We've got a spare room, but and we do have a spare room. But my brother, his wife, and his 2 daughters, they're also coming out at the same time. So you can stay as long as you like. But you're going to get the true Bisping effect when you come out here because my brother is very similar to me. And it'll be fun. James, right? James is going to enjoy it. Lucas is crazy. They're the same age. They've got 2 daughters. So, we've got a pool. It'll be lovely. It'll be nice family time.
I'm very excited about it. But good thing I fucking mentioned something because I said to you weeks ago, I was like, dude, we're doing this thing. I'm bringing my son. We're doing a father-son thing, going out to L.A. And you were like, yeah, come on out, dude. It'll be great. And your wife happened to be in the room.
No. Nothing's changed.
No, now there's fucking 7 other souls in your home. And now I feel like I'm an inconvenience because they're family members. So now you have these 2 Puerto Ricans, these 2 brown people that, first of all, everyone's going to think is the housekeeping's fucking family.
Yeah, exactly. Callum will be like, listen, my room's a bit messy. Would you mind going up there, please, and just giving it a 1-2?
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about it. We're going to have a good time. We're going to go out and do Universal Studio, all that good stuff. I know you got to do, I've never really given a shit about Father's Day either, but I kind of want to create this tradition with my son where we do something like a big trip every year for Father's Day, father-son bonding type thing.
Has James ever been on a plane?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been on, probably.
No, the reason I ask is because obviously coming out of New York down to LA is a long way. For Lucas and children when they're young, that's like the biggest highlight, getting on the airplane. Yeah. We're going camping in the summer. Last year it was like a 5-star hotel in Hawaii, and now I'm retired from fighting. We're going fucking camping.
Yeah. Next year you guys are going to be working the fields.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, and Lucas, the first thing he said was, do we get to go on an airplane? I'm like, yeah. So we're going up to, we're going glamping in Montana, Glacier National Park. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Glamping. Oh, so that means you're not actually doing a tent. You guys are like.
It's a tent, but it's a tent with like a bathroom, water. Shower. We got a fire inside the tent that keeps it warm.
No.
Multiple rooms. It's fucking beautiful, man. It's beautiful. There's rugs on the floor and a couch and all kinds of shit.
This is a tent? Shannon, pull up a glamping tent. I want to see this.
All right, do this. Go to undercanvas.com. I'm not ever going to deal with these guys, although I should. Undercanvas.com.
Bleep it out.
Nah, that's where we're going.
Yeah, we'll pull it up right now, Shannon. I want to see this. That's not camping, Michael Bisping. Here's the problem.
I told you it's called glamping, glamorous camping.
I got it. You didn't have to explain it.
Yeah, and we're there. And we're going to go fishing, and look, here we go. Go to the next picture. That's just one. See this? But there you go. Look at that. The sickest tent you'll ever see in your life.
That's twice the size of my bedroom in New York City.
It's amazing.
I want to see you in short shorts and a cowboy hat. Go back to that guy.
You're gonna see it. That's what we're doing.
There he is.
Yeah. So yeah, you're coming here. I'm going to Montana. It's exciting. Can't wait. So yeah, there you go. All right, everybody. Let me tell you something. You know that a business is only as strong as its people, and every hire matters. So don't settle for posting and hoping the right person will find your role and apply. Instead, choose LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more than the world's largest professional network. It's also a better way to find great talent. Think about it. How often do you check job boards? for most people, it's a pretty occasional thing. But there is a place where people go to daily to grow professionally, and that is LinkedIn. 70% of the U.S. workforce is already on LinkedIn.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to say, like, think of it like this, because people know of LinkedIn, but I think people can connect with that idea. You go on Facebook every day. LinkedIn is a great social media resource for businesses and people that are in business. So people that are utilizing LinkedIn are going into that website every single day, which is a major different thing. People aren't checking Craigslist every day or checking other, Monster.com or any of these other job posting sites every day. It's just not happening.
You will think about the quality of people that still go and check job boards as opposed to people that use their phone. You know what I mean? Come on. It's so old-fashioned.
Agreed.
So 22 million professionals view and apply for jobs on LinkedIn every week. Pretty amazing. In every industry. So just ask any of the hundreds of thousands of businesses who have posted to LinkedIn jobs over the past years. They rate LinkedIn jobs 40% higher than job boards at delivering quality candidates because LinkedIn considers skills, experiences, location, and more to match and promote your job to potential candidates.
Yeah. So if you're not using LinkedIn for your hiring needs, you are missing out. This is a fact. We just started using LinkedIn at Gas Digital to hire because we just opened our studios downtown. I'm going to tell you right now, by far, leaps and bounds better than all the other sites that we've used.
You didn't find Harrington on LinkedIn?
No. We found Harrington on Grubhub, actually.
I don't know what Grubhub is.
Yeah,
but,
all
right, listen.
It's a fat
If you
joke.
want to get involved, go to linkedin.com/believe and get a $50 credit towards your first job post. Wow, it's not bad. That's linkedin.com/believe for your $50 credit today. And of course, terms and conditions apply.
All right, let's get back into it. Let's talk about the fights this weekend.
Let's do it. Huge
by the way,
fight card.
We both of us, both. The truth is, neither of us watched the fight from this past weekend, the Moraes fight.
We didn't. Number one, the fights were on a Friday. Number two, I was in Connecticut. We did the show in person last week. We're going to do it again in person very soon. Massive response last week, Lewis. Everyone's saying the best show we'd ever done yet. Yeah. Just so much better in person. So I'm going to make a real effort once a month or so up there. You come down here. There you go. But, what was I saying? Jesus Christ.
You
Where
were
was it with that?
We were just talking about how we did not have time to watch the fights this past Friday.
Oh, sorry, that's right. And then I have this company, Playline. Check it out, guys. Download the app if you like making money and you watch sports. Playline.com. So I had a ton of meetings. I was very, very busy doing that, and just didn't get a chance to do it, unfortunately. Even though the fights were in New York, just couldn't make it. So we're not going to spend time breaking down there on what happened, and that doesn't matter because whilst all cards and fights are necessary, and you find out breakout stars and people get ranked and they move up the rankings, etc. They're all well and good. This weekend is a stacked card. It's a pay-per-view event. Two title fights? Two title fights, right?
Yeah.
Two title fights on the line. Whitaker, Romero, Dos Anjos, and Covington. Megan Anderson, Holly Holm. CM Punk, Lewis. CM Punk is going to be on the card. How do you feel about that?
Look, dude, I've said for a while, it just shouldn't be happening in the UFC. I don't want to shit on the UFC, but, it's main card, knocking off Alistair Overeem, throwing him to the undercard. It just, it's kind of silly to me. I completely understand you want to sell tickets, you want to make money, but the reality is you could throw anybody on a card. If you took any celebrity, any minor celebrity, and threw them on a card, it would have a lot of people watching it. It doesn't make it right. And you don't see it happen in other sports.
Well, you're right. I see what you're saying there when you say it doesn't make it right. And I guess to a certain degree, it doesn't. But if it's your company and you're trying to make money, and that's the reason why you signed CM Punk in the first place, I think you do it. I was actually at the UFC offices last Tuesday. And I had a chat with Dana about it because he said people are bitching about it like crazy. And yes, Overeem now is, he's on the prelims, which is crazy. Alistair Overeem, if I'm not mistaken, earns a lot of money. He's got a very good contract. He's going to be fighting on Fox Sports, which is great for FS1. It's amazing, but it's not as prestigious as being on the main card, obviously. But at the end of the day, CM Punk is who he is, and people know about him, and we're talking about him. And he's got a following. He came over from the WWE. And I don't want to shit all over CM Punk. If anything, I actually really admire the guy because he got ridiculed so much. I don't know what his financial situation is. I'm assuming he did very well in the WWE. He seems to be a big name and a big star. But he's come over to the UFC. He got ridiculed. And then he got smashed by our boy Mickey Gall. And then he got ridiculed even more. And now he's still got the balls to come back and do it again. Now is he fighting one of the best fighters in the UFC? No, far from it. He's fighting Mike Jackson, who himself is also 0-1. But that aside, to step back out there into the lion's den, if you will, of all the public criticism and negativity, to do all that, to take it all, and stick two fingers up at them or one middle finger up at everybody and say, fuck you. I admire that.
Meh. I just don't.
And money makes the world go around, buddy.
He's making a lot of money.
I'm not defending it. I'm saying I understand why it makes the world go around.
Look, I just, I won't beat a dead horse here, but I will say that it's sort of, I feel like it's sort of a middle finger to a lot of the other guys that have spent a lot of time trying to get there. And it just sort of, it slows the progress of the sport, in my opinion. I know that it's money talks and
well,
it just seems...
hold on a minute. I wouldn't go that far. Slowing the progress of the sport, that's a fucking big statement. I mean, let's not forget, back in the day in Pride, they had freak show fights all the time.
Right.
And no one bitched about that. No one said anything about that. I'm not being a UFC shill. I'm just trying to give a counter argument. Dana gets it, but he said, I can't remember who he quoted. He said someone was bitching at him that CM Punk was on the main card. And he said, well, when you sell as many fucking pay-per-views as CM Punk, then you'll be on the main card. When you put it like that, it's just economics at the end of the day.
The reality is you can't give CM Punk a contract where you're paying him millions of dollars probably to be on an undercard. It's bad business. However, I just wouldn't give him a contract. The reason I say it slows the progress of the sport is because it makes everyone stop and go, okay, it's just not real. It's not a real sport. It is very much... it has that freak show element, and to be honest with you, Pride, that was sort of the criticism of Pride back in the day, that everyone was on steroids, they did freak show fights, there was no rhyme or reason to what was going on, and I think that the UFC was able to sort of step ahead of Pride in terms of respect, because they did treat it like a sport. They brought in athletic commissions, they changed the rules, they created safety for the fighters, and I feel like when they do this, when it's very much transparently just an economic move, I feel like it's very transparent, and it slows the progress of the sport. Counter fucking argument.
Here we go. Get ready for the counter. I've been very patient. I'm going to make the same point extendedly. I get it. I got where you were going straight away. Okay. Now, here's the counter. You're saying it's, and again, I'm retired from the UFC. I'll say whatever I want. Let's say an extra 500,000 wrestling fans tune in and watch this fight this weekend. Okay, 500,000 new fans. They watch it. They go, "Holy shit!" All right, CM Punk got smashed. I'm not saying he's going to get smashed. He wins, he loses, whatever. But they watch the rest of the fight and they love it and it's amazing. And they go tell all the people and the wrestling WWE forums on Monday morning, like, "Holy shit! I watched the UFC event at the weekend. It was fucking awesome." And then it builds. How is that affecting the growth of the sport? It is actually growing the sport massively because it's bringing a new fan base and new eyeballs to the sport, as well as, of course, making money. And yes, there may be more deserving fighters down the line, but still, it does help the progress of the sport, in my opinion.
Yes, bringing new eyes to the sport helps the progress of the sport, and just in terms of dollars and in terms of people. But are those people staying? I mean, yeah, there's probably a number of people that are going to stay.
Maybe. Listen, you used to be a WWE fan, Lewis, back in the day, and now you're an MMA fan.
I completely agree.
Did you stay?
But does that, hold on, but it's a little bit.
Did you stay? Did you stay? Did you stay? Did you stay?
Yes, I stayed.
Well, yeah, you fucking stayed.
That's not the point.
So why won't they stay?
They might stay. They might stay. The point is, though, it's a little short-sighted to give up the credibility of what is considered a legitimate sport. I mean, it's got the fucking Fox Sports theme. Now they're going to ESPN. It's a real sport before every show. You're giving up a little bit of that credibility, and I think it might be short-sighted to just make that quick sale. Yes, there are people and eyes coming to it, but I think the hardcore fans are going, you know what? This isn't necessarily what we're looking for. And to be honest with you, I think it's built off the back of those hardcore fans. The truth is, having casual fans is great, and those people will come out to Hooters, but I think it's the hardcore fans that are going to, that are buying the bulk of those pay-per-views.
Okay, absolutely correct. But let's just look at the card because it's fucking ridiculous. On the FS1, Fox Sports For free, you've got Rashad Coulter versus I don't know that fight, but you got Ricardo Lamas, Mercer Bektik. That's an amazing fight. Former champion Claudia Gadelha taking on former champion Carla Esparza, and then Alistair Overeem taking on Curtis Blades. That's an amazing fight. So you could argue that you're giving to the hardcore fan base, because for those people that can't afford the $60 in this troubled economy, maybe they can't afford, but they get to see stellar fights. Then you go to the pay-per-view. Okay, some of those people, wrestling fans, they bought it because of CM Punk. They get the CM Punk. It's the first fight. They get it out of the way. They get the freak show done. Then we move on to Andrei Arlovsky taking on Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa, one of my favorite people to watch right now. If you don't follow Tai Tuivasa on Instagram, you should do. He puts a lot of effort into his posts, these little videos with emotional music, all this type of shit. Tai Tuivasa, Bam Bam Tuivasa, check that out. That's an amazing fight. Then you got Holly Holm, former champion, taking on Megan Anderson, who may be the next challenger at 145 for Cyborg. She may be the only person capable of giving Cyborg a real fight. We'll see. It's a pivotal fight in the women's division. Then we've got Dos Anjos taking on Covington. That's, don't need to talk about that. And Whittaker and Romero. It's fucking stellar. It's stacked. It's top to bottom. You've got 2 title fights. Stop bitching about the CM Punk thing. If you don't like it, go take a dump. Go make a coffee. Go have a beer. Go smoke a spliff. Go do whatever it is you want to do. Or don't buy the fucking card.
But did you stay? But did you stay?
I sound like I'm being paid by the
Holy shit, how much are they giving you?
Not.
How much are they giving you under the tables? Is it all cash? Is it off the... You don't have to pay taxes on it? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's it. When Dana called me last week, he's like, listen, you got to support the CM Punk thing,
sell
Mike.
CM Punk. Sell it.
The fucking chick magnet. We got to sell the chick magnet.
You see, what I think, this isn't even Michael Bisping. Dana White's, this is a puppet, a Michael Bisping puppet. Dana White's hand is up his ass right now, and he's just fucking yapping. It's crazy.
No, I'll be honest. Listen, of course, I'm an MMA guy. I'm not overly excited about seeing CM Punk, but I am excited for this weekend's card. I really am. I'm working it on Fox Sports. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for the fights. All right, CM Punk, I'll take it or leave it. My point is there's fucking great fights, and I'd still pay for it anyway.
Can I also just say, because we are joking around here a lot, like, I don't really give a fuck either way. I'm not really passionate about this topic, but I will say I don't really give a shit. There's 5 fights. What's beautiful about mixed martial arts, right? And you kind of almost convinced me in this thing, right? Because you do have 5 fights on the main card. You do have these incredible fights. This is a great way to fish for new fans. You know what I'm saying? It's a marketing tactic. It's a tool. And, they're paying the guy a lot of money anyway. You might as well do it. It's built into the sport that you get all of these incredible fights. So if they throw one as sort of a freak show fight, fine. But you got to call it what it is. It is a freak show fight.
Well, yeah, and that's what I said. That's why I likened it to that in Brad kind of a freak show fight. Every time you change the angle, I seem to move for some reason, driving me crazy. You sent me a link, something to do about Chick Magnet or some lawsuit with CM Punk. Seeing as we're on CM Punk, what was that? I never clicked the link. I'm sorry.
Let me see. This is what Harrington sent. CM Punk was in court over defamation suit stemming from a 2014 podcast he did with Colt Cabana. Under oath, he confirmed that the CM Punk, or the CM in his name, stands for Chick Magnet, stemming from a wrestling tag team from his old days on the indie circuit. Do you send that as a story, Harrington?
So what? He got sued because he calls himself the Chick Magnet, or that information came out throughout the lawsuit?
Yeah.
That was a fun story.
This is what happens when you give Harrington a little bit of fucking power. I say, dude, start sending up the notes, start sending us stuff, and this is what he comes up with.
So basically, the story is that the CM stands for Chick Magnet.
Yeah. That's
okay. Hey, solid. Good story. Excellent journalism. Over the fucking moon with that one. Hey, you ever wonder what CM stands for? It stands for Chick Magnet, motherfucker. Chick
Where
Magnet.
were we going to go with that, Harrington? What was in your head? I want to know where Harrington thought we could
We have no foundation on what the lawsuit was about. We have no stats. We have no topics or reasons why he was being sued, any damages, the result of the lawsuit. All we have is that CM Punk stands for Chick Magnet.
Maybe other things it could have stood for? Is that where we would have went?
Yeah,
we would have had a little fun game. Like, he thought we were going to play a game with it. Like,
yeah, like what's the J in Luis J. Gomez stand for?
Junkie.
Junkie. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. What was the other one he sent? Misha Tate had a baby girl.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm sorry. Listen, I'll say this. I got 3 kids. Misha Tate is a very nice person. I was with her last week. And, yeah, I was a fan of Misha. I was. She's a great person. She was a good fighter. She had a great career. But and she had a baby, and congratulations. That's beautiful. But I don't think it's the fact that someone had a baby is like, I want to spout about that for 20 minutes on the podcast. Happens every day.
Yeah, where are we going to go with that?
Well done. Well, no, seriously. Seeing as we're
had a
talking
baby.
about, congratulations everyone to Misha Tate.
Yeah.
Well done. You know, that's beautiful. But, ooh, big news.
She's a woman.
She's been pregnant for 9 months. After 9 months, it pops out.
Yeah, they predicted this,
Oh,
Harrington.
look at that little thing. No, bless it.
This was news. She's still hot. I like Misha.
Oh, that is cute, though.
Misha, she used to, you know what always bugs me, though? Newborn pictures really always bug me out, though, because there is legitimately vag slime on the baby in that exact moment.
But, Lewis, please.
They wipe it with a towel. It's like a fucking towel.
Come
That's
on.
it.
Come on. No, I'm sorry. I can't allow that.
What?
Can't allow this line of discussion to continue.
What? It's the truth. Oh, you don't want the truth on the show? Okay, if Dana White was saying it, he'd be going, oh, vag slime all day long.
No, listen. You know, when I see newborn babies now, when I had newborn babies myself, I didn't really give a fuck. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. You know,
Really?
But now I'm older and I'll never have a newborn baby myself. When I see them, I'm like, oh, my God, they are actually really cute. You know, but when I
weren't
have my own,
touched?
I'm like, oh, God.
You weren't fucking
shitting all over the place.
No, you were not like you, dude. When I had my fucking kid, I was like immediately like a doting dad. Like I couldn't even. You were young though. How old were you when you had your first kid?
21.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Were you
21
terrified?
years old. You know, you do the deed, a man and woman, and what do you think happens? Of course, babies come out, and then we made the same, not the mistake, that's not the right word, very happy with how our lives turned out, but then it happened again
That's right,
shortly
because
after
Callum
that.
listens to this podcast, so.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure he knows how it happens, the birds and the bees. But anyway, I see newborn babies now, and I'm like, oh, bless. It's a good thing I've retired from fighting. I'm slowly but surely turning into a woman, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of estrogen. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. So anyway, should we call Robin Black?
Yeah,
We'll his
get
take
Robin Black on the phone.
225, and then we'll piggyback from there.
Sure, we will. All right, so look, we're going to hang up with you real quick, Mike. We will come back. I'll take a moment to give a quick plug to the network. Mike, we'll see you in just a second. Hang tight. If you guys love the show, you should know that we have over, 65 episodes now?
Yeah, this is 66.
66 episodes on demand. You guys get the entire full video versions of the episodes. Ad-free. I know a lot of people complain about the ads. You should know, guys, we can't show YouTube videos. We cannot show them. We'll get bumped from YouTube. They'll pull the videos. So we have to edit out those YouTube videos. So if you guys want to see them ad-free, we have them on gasdigitalnetwork.com.
Okay, so we're going to call Robin Black. Canadian sports analyst, MMA analyst, all-round nice guy, hard-working fella.
Yeah, has he fought too? I think he's fought as well.
I'm not sure, actually.
I think
I don't know. Let's have a look. I apologize.
Hello?
Hey, Robin Black.
Hey, man, what's happening?
What's up, Robin? Using you by your official first name there. Welcome to the show. You're on with myself and Lewis.
Hey, what up, guys? Thanks for calling.
Hey, Robin, just before we start getting into it, we were just saying then, did you ever fight professionally or as an amateur?
I fought 9 times as a professional fighter. Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm on his Sherdog page right now. Yeah, you went 4-5 as a professional. Yeah, it's so funny because you watch the YouTube videos. You don't come off like a fighter, and then I see you in the picture on Sherdog, and you look exactly like a fighter.
Well, I mean, a 500-ish record is a pretty good, I think, coach or analyst type record. Like you have to lose, you have to be hurt, you have to get embarrassed, maybe taken out on a stretcher. That's the journey, right? Like that's how you're going to really understand. You're going to analyze somebody else's work, what's really happening in there. And really, I'm not naturally inclined to fight. I just loved it so much, and I knew this was my calling. This, what I do right now, talking about fighting, explaining it to people, showing it to people in detail. And to really do that properly, I had to fight once or twice. I just ended up doing it 9 times because I started to love the challenge of it.
You know, it's interesting you say that, Robin. I never thought about that, but you're absolutely right. In order to be a good analyst and have a real insight, you got to experience both sides of the coin. You know, winning is great. That's amazing. But you've got to lose because you got to know why you've lost. And then maybe you can look at fighters and say why they might lose or they did lose and things like that because you know from experience. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and you have to feel the consequences of it, you know, and you have to feel like not only failing, you can win a fight, but fail in moments where somebody's jabbed you in the face enough times that you can't move forward. And anybody who's never fought is screaming, come on, just go forward, bro. You know, you don't understand what it is to be taught by the man that you're fighting that it's too dangerous to move forward, to have your brain trained by somebody else's actions. Like, you have to have that. And, you know, there are different ways to talk about fighting and share it and stuff. But when people are critical of fighters and they haven't experienced it, they don't understand. You know, when you're critical of a moment and you've never had your eye full of blood and unable to breathe and your body is burning and you can't think and you're trying to do something that you know how to do, but you can't do it in the moment, you have to experience that to understand it.
And
yeah, well, you certainly. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lewis.
No, it's no problem. Well, I think it's very interesting. You know, you were an analyst before you actually went into those fights.
Yeah, essentially 10 years ago or 12 years ago, I said, I want to commentate the UFC. That's what I want to do. And I started doing, you know, I sung in a rock band in Canada at the time. I wore eye makeup and had tight leather pants and nail polish and stuff.
I've seen some of those pictures, Robin. I've seen some of Hey, Lewis, whilst Robin talks, just Google those images.
Yeah, I mean, and so where I came from, I loved martial arts. I understood it in ways that I saw that maybe most of the world didn't, but I also understood it in ways that I felt I could explain and share it and show people kind of what about it is this fascinating art form, you know, in ways that we don't see. It's there. Every single time you fight, it's there, but people don't necessarily see it. So I wanted to do that, and I felt that this was what I could do and was good at. So I figured because of, you know, those pictures that Louis is looking at right now, and what I did before, that I figured I'd better fight, or there was going to be no way that I was going to get the chance to do it. But one fight led to two, and then I wanted to win, and then I wanted to win again, and then I got to fight for a little belt, and all of a sudden I was a fighter for 5 years of my life, and I loved it. And to this day, when people, thank you for bringing it up, because when I talk about it, it's the proudest experiences in my life that I did that.
Well, I wanted to just kind of piggyback on that question because, you know, I think it's so interesting to kind of look at it from one perspective and then, you know, go through that experience and come out of it sort of on the other side. So almost from like an analytical standpoint, or even from a fan standpoint, because fans analyze, right? What do you think you kind of learned from that experience that you would say most people wouldn't really understand, you know, without getting there? Like, what did you kind of take away from that you would go like, you know what, I would have had no idea, and that now kind of helps you with the analysis side of things?
Well, there's millions, but the biggest one that, you know, does help me explain it to people, but also helps you in life. It helps you very much understand yourself in life, is that you're really fighting yourself. Like that cliche that people say, especially in the beginning. I can't speak for what it's like to be a Michael Bisping or to be, you know, these guys at this level. But when you're in the beginning, you're really trying to overcome your own desire to run away or protect yourself or shell up or do things that are not going to help you win. And your instincts are to do that. Or you can leave the fight at any time. You tap the mat and you leave the fight. You know what I mean? And that would be a much safer choice than to continue forward while somebody's kicking you in the face in your underpants. You know? So you have.
What is the cliche that you're referring to, Robin?
Which one?
You just said obviously it's a cliche. There's a cliche, and but you never said what the cliche was.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I thought you were going to say like I want to test myself or find myself and all this type of stuff. Because people, you're absolutely right. I hear what you're saying. People romance it, right? They romance being a fighter, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to test myself and push myself to the limit. But it's not about that, you know. I mean, yes, of course, that is an element to it. But it's much tougher mentally and physically, I think, than people realize. But whatever you're doing, Robin, or the experience, the fights, it paid off, because I've got to say, You are one of the best analysts in the business. And every time you do those Robin Black 1-minute breakdowns, they are absolutely exceptional. And I always see something that I hadn't seen before. So job well done, my friend.
Well, thank you, man. Like when fighters like you that I admire and coaches who's been working and tell me that, it really does move me. Like the fact that I know that I am viewing it from a different perspective that I think people can enjoy. And you're right. Every time I put one of these out, that seems to be true, which is just makes me so happy. But when you fucking fought at the highest level, world champion, and fought the toughest fighters in the world, and you can tell me that you're seeing things that you didn't see before, that moves me deeply because this is what I love to do.
Well, every time, Robin, every time. So I want to ask you a question. Me and Lewis were having a spirited debate earlier. Obviously, this weekend, UFC 225. Opening the main card, CM Punk versus Mike Jackson. Okay, we know the controversy there. CM Punk, one fight in the UFC. He lost. Now, WWE guy, all the rest. You know the background. Lewis is saying, basically, it's bullshit. He has no place being there. I'm like, well, I kind of understand it from a business standpoint because he brings in a lot of pay-per-view buyers. What do you think? What's your opinion? Where do you stand on this whole thing?
So it's really, I think I have a unique perspective that not many people have because he's literally doing exactly what I did on a small level, late 30s, loves martial arts for some reason, walking away from some other thing that was probably pretty, or in his case was very successful for him, to go, and the first time he did it, he has no idea what he's dealing with because you can't possibly. You think you do, and that's probably the biggest lie of all, is that you think you understand what you're facing, but you actually have no idea, and you have no idea of how little idea you have until you do it. So, but now I admire him. Because the first walk to the cage is not the hard one. The second one is the fucking hard one. Because you know what's waiting there for you. You know what's waiting there. And in his case, you know what's waiting there from last time? Not only failure, but like completely, he was ridiculed. He was embarrassed. His face and body probably hurt in ways it never hurt, in his life. And he's going to do it again. And I admire that. I do admire that.
You hear that, Lewis? You hear that, Lewis? Does that sound familiar? Did I just say that 5-10 minutes ago?
Well, hold on. Hold on. Robin made that fucking brilliant. Robin made that brilliant point where he said it's not the first walk that's the hardest; it's the second walk. You didn't say anything anywhere near as insightful as that.
No, I didn't say it quite as eloquently as the great Robin Black. Okay, I've had a lot of coffee this morning and I just traveled the world. I'm very busy, I'm very tired, and quite frankly, you can go fuck yourself. But what I did say is that it's so fucking hard for this guy, after all the ridicule that he got, losing the first time the way he did, to do it all over again. You have to respect that. So how do you see this fight going down, Robin? What do you think?
Well, I don't think that Mike Jackson is a particularly high-level fighter. If we go to the conversation about, whether or not this should be on a main card or whatever, I mean, that's a business conversation. And Mike Jackson would never be on one. I think he's an 0-1 fighter as well. Yeah. And I think he just got it. And he doesn't really understand what he's dealing with either. And he's never been anywhere 1/10 the scrutiny, the attention, all of those people. That's heavy shit. And Mike, you've done a ton of work with sports psychology consultants and experts. This is hard shit, like mentally demanding stuff. And Punk will have been preparing for that. He has the experience of that, and he'll been preparing for that. He's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. This guy's probably similar or slightly lower in jiu-jitsu. Duke will have him ready with some pretty smart things, like they'll have prep. I think he's got a chance to win this fight against a guy of this level. I really do. I think the biggest thing for him, if you're his friend or you're his team, you're talking to him about, we're not looking to win. We're looking to perform really, really well and stay in it and be focused. And if we do that, we'll probably win. And if he approaches it that way, and I suspect he will, I mean, it's not going to blow anybody's mind skill-wise. No, even if he looks good, if he got a knockout, people hopefully don't misunderstand it. He's a novice in fighting. From a standpoint of high-level mixed martial arts, should it be there? No, not really. But this human story of this individual, I'm cheering for him. I hope he does well.
Yeah, me too. And also one thing that I think people don't realize is Mickey Gall is actually, in my opinion, a respectable mixed martial artist. Of course, I think it was it his debut or his second fight in the UFC? He came from the Dana White looking for a fight show, so they thought, oh, here's the guy. You know, let's be honest, maybe a good opponent for CM Punk. But he's a friend of the show. I know him personally. Lewis knows him well. He's very dedicated. He's very, very good at jiu-jitsu. He trains his ass off, and he'll have a bright future. Will he be world champion? You know, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he has what it takes to have a good career and stick around the UFC for some time. So that really was a difficult matchup for CM Punk to make his debut in.
Yeah, and you know who the other, you were just thinking, was it his first fight or his second fight? His first fight was knocking out Mike Jackson.
He choked him out.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Right? So both of these two guys faced a very real mixed martial artist, a very real young, strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt who's a really good fighter. And neither one of them was anywhere near that caliber. But they're kind of near each other's caliber. And Punk will have the slightly better preparation from the people he works with. They'll have focused on the mental aspect of it, that, you know, your goal is to be in here for 15 hard minutes, to accept that you're going to be pushed and challenged, and find and welcome that, and in it find the greatness in the fight. And if it ends up only lasting 3 or 7 or 9 minutes, great. But we're here for 15 hard minutes of finding out who we are. And if he focuses on that, and that's what they will have done, I think I'm not a betting guy, and I discourage people from betting on fighting because there's so many unbelievable variables. But if I was, this would be the guy I'd bet on. I would bet on CM Punk.
Yeah, and if you watch both of the fights, Mike Jackson versus Mickey Gall and CM Punk versus Mickey Gall, CM Punk did substantially better than Mike Jackson. I mean, I'm watching it right now on repeat. It was like a 50-second fight. Mickey, who, you know, at that point, this is his first fight, you know, was barely even training striking, admittedly so. He's been working really hard on that since, but he knocked him down with a right and then choked him out. And he was tapping out before he fucking even had the choke. And basically, he didn't seem like, whereas CM Punk at the very least was, you know, he's let him beat the shit out of him for a while and at least tried to hold on at the very least. So, yeah, they're probably the same skill set. But I think that the bigger, you know, conversation was, does it hold the UFC back? Do you think that it's a positive or more of a negative for the sport and sort of how people are viewing the sport?
My take on the UFC in a lot of cases is that they focus. This is my take. This is my personal belief, and some of it is colored by the fact of what I do and how I do it. But my take is that they concentrate way too much on this sort of, mythological casual fan, and not enough on the hard niche of dedicated, consumers that they have. And, we're around that business and we're around that company, and you'll hear things like, oh, well, the hardcores will watch no matter what. I just feel like that is an undertone of disrespect that they don't quite realize they're doing. That's not true. Hardcores of things will not just watch forever. Eventually, we live in a world where they can consume fighting from Russia and fighting from China and fighting from all over the world. And eventually they do feel slightly disrespected that they're not getting what they look for on a deep level, and instead this sort of casual observer is being taken care of. And I think you run a risk of that. I do. I think that in this type of scenario, it's in line with that thinking that I think the UFC has done over the last half decade. And yeah, it can be negative. But on the other hand, in the short term, the short hot burn, you'll do 500,000 pay-per-views that you might not have otherwise did if these two guys didn't fight. So, it's a short-term, long-term kind of thinking. Long-term, I don't know that this is good.
And that final thought thing that you just said, realistically, is what it's all about. It's a business at the end of the day.
No,
but while you were saying that,
say it again. Can you just repeat everything you just...
The smugness of Luis J. Gomez's face was off the charts, because that was one point that we disagreed on, and you said what Luis said, and if you see the video back, he was making some rather lewd gestures at me down the camera. So, yeah. Okay, so...
Well, isn't it funny, though, that I was with you completely on the idea of him fighting and how hard it is and how much respect he deserves. But then I'm on the other side with
exactly.
That's
the beautiful thing about sports. But let's move on away from CM Punk, because I feel like a lot of today's show has been about him, and no disrespect to him, there is more deserving fighters on the card. I'm going to go into the main event shortly. So let's focus on the co-main event, because I'm sure you've got better things to do. Rafael dos Anjos, Colby Covington. How do you see this one going down?
there's still a lot of the time, I think, when we talk about fighting, we're using concepts, even fighters when they do it in television settings, we're using concepts that we talked about for a long time. But when fighters and coaches are in gyms, you don't hear them saying, well, Covington's a better wrestler, but RDA is a better striker and jiu-jitsu player. And personally, Mike, that you don't really view fights that way anymore. High-level fighters really don't, because of how it all blends, But there are exceptions to that. When you're figuring out how to get ready for, Yoel Romero or whatever, you will gear in on his strengths, but it's really a lot of everything, And this fight is like that. But having said that, this is one of those more exceptions to it. Covington can just take positional dominance over somebody and ride that for a whole fight. But on the other hand, when I saw RDA and Lawler, I forget what city that was in, but I was there for it. And
Winnipeg, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, my hometown. Yeah. Yes, and I was blown away by Rafael dos Anjos. I also, when I saw him after, he's a much bigger man than I think I pictured. When you started thinking about him fighting at 170 against these young, super athletic fighters like Colby Covington, I thought of him as like a little 55er, but he's not really. I would find it hard to imagine Covington having any other type of success other than riding him for 2 or 3 rounds and slowly beating him up. You also look at Covington, as much as we all get excited about him, and he's a polarizing and interesting guy, Damian Maia is a very good win, and Dong Young Kim, who he rode, and Dong Young Kim's a grinder, and he grinded him. Other than that, he doesn't have any real big names in his history. Mike Pyle is a great
No, but as you say, Damian Maia and Dong Young Kim, I mean, they are 2 legitimate wins. I mean, Damian Maia, he's ridiculous, and Dong Young Kim, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves either. So I forgot about that fight, actually. So it's interesting because Dos Anjos, he's been working on his wrestling a lot. Obviously, we have a similar coach in Jason Perillo now, so he's been helping on the striking front. He's been working the wrestling very, very hard. The thing that excites me about this fight is that both guys just have that go-forward style. I don't think, either going to come into this fight thinking I'm going to dance around and try and wear him out, get into the 3rd round. None of that. I think they're going to meet head-on in the middle, and it's going to be all-out war.
I agree. And, I don't think, I forget, I was chatting with a friend and they were talking about Covington, and they're like, do you think that he will feel the need to be exciting, quote, and throw down? And it's like, I think he'd be thrilled to have people boo him because he grinded, just go for it. They'll meet in the middle. But by meeting a wrestler in the middle, you're in his range. You're in his range to get grabbed and dragged and torn down and beaten up. It's an interesting one as well. Like, imagine we're fighting Covington. The answer to a good wrestler isn't be a better wrestler. The answer is don't wrestle him, at all.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing that when people are saying what happened to Damian Maia's takedowns. The game of wrestling used to be we would move towards each other. You'd punch me, and I would grab you. As soon as I grab you, wrestling begins. Now the answer is let's stop that initial grab. Let's be in positions where that first grab, that single, the arm drag, getting to the body, locking somebody up, let's eliminate that. And that's what people have gotten so good at. And if I'm RDA, that's the game I'm playing. I want to move towards you in the sense that I want to move towards you and engage you in fighting, but I want to be moving backward and inviting and striking you, backing up too, and get to that point where that first grab never happens and just punish you. And if RDA is going to have success, it'll be in those first couple of rounds. He'll just start ripping him up, move forward enough to get him engaged, and then back out and strike him as you back away. And everybody's so good at that now, and it's such a beautiful game to see.
So what do you think? Who wins? It sounds to me, if I'm reading this correctly, like you're leaning towards Covington based upon just being bigger and perhaps a better wrestler. But how do you see it going down, Robin?
Yeah, can't you see both those things? Can't you see Covington knocked out in the first
Absolutely.
7 minutes? But can't you? And I see more likely. The hard part is that first grab, that ability to get a hold of somebody. But if Covington does that, he's going to grind a guy out and beat him up a little from the top. And I think you're right. I think they kind of come and meet in the middle. And by meeting in the middle instead of retreating as much as I think you would be encouraged to do, I think Covington starts taking him down, smothering him, and slowly picking him apart. But, I move away from predicting at all these days, and I move and I let it kind of stew all the way through to the fight. Because as soon as you start picking a side or choosing what you think is going to happen, you start to look for things to reinforce that. Whereas I leave it kind of open-ended right up until the day of and even the night of, and just let it all the different things kind of let my curiosity about all these different things happen. It's so fun. It's such a beautiful thing.
Well, that's actually a really smart thing to do, because when you pick fighters to win, that means you pick one to lose. And trust me, from experience, they don't like that. You get a lot of messages on Twitter. You get "fuck you, Bisping." You get "you suck anyway," and all that type of shit. So, or I could say that you're just being a bit of a pussy, Robin. How comfortable is that fence that you're sitting on?
Yeah, to be honest, I am more than well. I mean, being called a pussy by Mike Bisping is actually a badge of honor where I come from. But honestly, I really do think you get better enjoyment out of it. I know that the game that we make as a culture, we pick one, we stand with it. Even though we only have 2%, 5% of the information, we don't know what they ate, we don't know who's sick, we don't know who's injured, we don't know most everything. So we make a pick, which really is a guess. And then if we're right, we tease the shit out of the others. And if we're wrong, they tease the shit out of us. And it is fun, but it's not super logical. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, Robin, we appreciate the time you've taken with us today. We want to definitely tell everyone to go check out your YouTube channel. Where can people find you? What's the best way for people to check out your stuff?
Hold on, just real fast. I just want to say thank you, Robin, for that video that you sent me this morning. That was beautiful, very, very nice, and 100%. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, man. And thank you. Really, I've drawn a ton of inspiration from watching you do your thing and fight your fights and live your life. I really have. And it's an honor to be able to break down fighters like you, man. I mean that.
Amazing.
And if people want to see that, it's on my Instagram and Twitter at Robin Black MMA.
Beautiful. Robin, thanks for joining us. We'll do it again sometime. And let's grab that beer that we keep talking about very soon.
For sure, brother. Thanks a lot, guys. I really enjoyed it. Take care.
Take care, buddy.
Robin, you're the man. Thanks a lot.
And I just want to point out that I actually don't drink anymore. So even though I'm saying let's have a beer, I stopped. I quit drinking a while ago.
Not even a beer? Oh, yeah.
Say again?
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, that was Robin Black.
What a nice guy. Really good guy.
A great guy, and a fantastic analyst. He really is. I meant what I said. Every time I watch one of his breakdowns, I'm like, oh, shit, I never thought of that, So he obviously spends a lot of time researching it and all the rest of it. But
I started getting inspired because, I have my first fight coming up against comedian Ryan O'Neal, and then I started going oh, shit, dude. He started talking about the first time going to the cage, and I was like, all right, well, now I don't know.
Oh, you started getting the butterflies.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, now it's a whole thing. I got the officially we're one of the main events. I guess it's a 3-night thing, and we're one of the main events, one of the nights.
What is the date for that?
The weekend of August 25th.
Let me see what I'm doing August 25th.
You better be in my corner, bitch.
Oh, well, let me look. August 25th. Well, it turns out I'm free in August. That is a Saturday.
Yeah.
I come do that Saturday. Not drink on Saturday night, Monday morning, do the podcast in person.
Definitely not drink.
Definitely not drink on the Saturday night in New York.
You mean Vegas?
Yeah, right. In Vegas?
No, it's in Vegas, doggy.
Oh, it's in Vegas. I definitely don't drink in Vegas.
No, why would you drink in Vegas? Do they even have alcohol there?
Who the fuck drinks alcohol in Vegas? Come on, are you serious? Jesus Christ. I'm an ex-professional athlete, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I know. Timmy Coin.
No, so maybe we do that then. Maybe I'll come watch, and then on the Monday we do the pod in person.
Corner me. I need
I'll corner you, for
help.
fuck's sake, okay? All right. Listen, I don't know if you've got cornermen. I don't want to push people out just because I'm the former middleweight champion of the world, most wins in the UFC, most significant strikes landed, only British champion that ever entered. Just because I'm that guy doesn't mean you necessarily want me in the corner.
I got Harrington.
Well, fuck him. I'll be in the corner.
I got Harrington. All right, so now I got Michael Bisping in my corner. Listen, it's happening, baby. Don't you worry.
I'll be there. I'll be there. Unless something lucrative comes up, then I'm sorry. I got to bow out. But as of right now, I'm wide open.
I'll be at the fucking Winnipeg Casino for Playline Sports doing appearances, signing old gloves.
Playline.com. Download the app from the App Store. Check it out. Daily Fantasy Sports Simplified. You're going to be amazed, people.
All right, Mike, let's talk about one of our amazing sponsors, which is BetDSI.com. Awesome website. I love it. You love it. They love the show. They help out the show. If you guys listen to the show, you should be using BetDSI.
Absolutely, you should, because BetDSI has 20 years plus in the business. BetDSI is top rated on all review sites, easy to use and fast playing interface. Bet games as they go. You get live in-game wagering options throughout the tournament. Make plays throughout entire games and events. Amazing customer service. Available 24/7, 365. It has built a reputation on fast payment of winnings. And Lewis, what happens if you use the promo code Me25?
You get heartburn, apparently. What the fuck was that?
What do you mean?
It looked like your heart was about to come through your chest.
No, because the microphone disappeared because it went through, it dropped. I'm like, where the fuck did the microphone go? I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is. So, yeah, if you go to the website, use the promo code Me25. As you know, you get $25 for registering, and you get a 200% bonus match.
This is free
on
money.
your money.
That's free money, $25 for free. And then if you put money down, they basically triple it up, okay? So this is found free money. Let me tell you, if you've ever gambled on anything, you know how much more fun it makes it. Go watch a fight this weekend. Just put $5 on every fight with your best friend. You will be losing your mind at every single moment of the fight. And that's why BetDSI, it actually enhances the experience of watching fights, which is awesome. Do you know, Michael Bisping, that Yoel Romero is a pretty heavy underdog in this fight? Now, I know we are not huge Romero fans on this show, but for a free $25, dude, -1.
Listen, here's the thing. Anyone listening to this podcast right now, if you're going to watch the UFC fights this weekend, which I'm assuming is a lot of you, go to betdsi.com, use the promo code Me25. You have $25 to bet on the fights. It's free. And if you put any money down, you'll triple that. You know, so it just makes sense. Just do it. And that's not even, just thinking about it logically. I'm not even trying to sell it, even though they place ads on our podcast, and I'm grateful for that. But there's no reason to not do this. Listen, I know that Robin said, you know, don't bet on fights, but if you bet on fights and you get it right, you make some money, and it makes it way more exciting. You know, I understand what he's saying. The fight game's crazy and you never know how it's going to go down. Well, you're right. You know, most sporting events, you don't know how it's going to go down. But if you're man enough, you know, or woman enough to put a bit of money down, it's way more fun, and you win some fucking money. And on top of that, BetDSI are going to give you $25 for free and triple any money you do put down.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, what more do you fucking want?
Robin Black said don't bet with your own money, but BetDSI's money you can bet with all day.
And Robin Black also used to wear crazy, crazy makeup and prance around with long hair topless.
Yeah, so you're listening to Robin Black, you can listen to Michael Bisping. You make a decision.
Yeah, come on. You're saying Yoel Romero is a big underdog.
Pretty big, yeah.
I say that I think Robert Whittaker's going to win, but you know, it wasn't a while ago that I was thinking that Romero would win. The first fight was pretty dominant, I think, for Whittaker, but you never know. Underdogs, free money to bet with. It's always smart to go with the underdog because that money will get you a better reward. And it's not a crazy bet. It's not an out-of-this-world bet. He can, you know, it is Yoel Romero, for crying out loud. So, you know, he could pull it off.
All right, well, look, that's it. Go to betdsi.com. Tell them we sent you by using promo code Me25. Let's get back into it.
Anyway, let's talk about the main event. The main event, Yoel Romero taking on Robert Whittaker.
It's your boy.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed I never got to fight one of those two guys, you know. But it is what it is. They're fighting. They're rematching. First fight, I thought the first fight was pretty close. Of course, I was there ringside and threw my belt at Robert Whittaker in disgust. Because he's standing there with a belt on. I was like, you don't deserve that belt. Why the fuck have you got a belt around your waist? And I'll still say this. Robert Whittaker's a great guy. I'm a fan of Robert Whittaker. I think he's an amazing fighter. 7-0 at middleweight, taking out some great guys. You can't hate on the guy. He's incredible. Nice guy. Humble. Like him a lot. He hasn't been in one... Excuse me. He hasn't been in a single championship fight. I'll be honest. He hasn't. He fought Yoel Romero and beat him. Neither were the champion. Then he was supposed to fight Rockhold for the interim belt or unification or whatever and pulled out with an injury. So I'm just saying.
And also, to be honest, if we're being completely honest, if we're going to, criticize, as we do sometimes, we have to. This is why we make the big bucks. We have to be critical, right?
Huge dollars from this podcast.
This, neither of these guys, you lost to GSP. GSP is the last guy to hold the title.
That's what I'm saying. Neither of these guys are the champ, but it is what it is.
Paper champion.
GSP retired. Well, no, there has to be another champion, but neither has been involved in a championship fight yet. My point is, listen, he legitimately won an interim title. So he should still be the interim title champ. He's not the fucking undisputed champ.
I don't want to suck your dick.
Defended it.
I don't want to suck your dick, but since GSP retired, your retirement's kind of new. It's fresh. Even you said you don't even know with 1 foot, one foot out. You might even technically sort of have a claim to the title.
I'm probably still the champion of the world. Yeah. There's your headline. I'm still the champion of the world. Hold on, Darren Till.
Do the math on that.
/ Renato Laranja is just texting me. Yeah, do the math. Do the math. It's me. I'm still the champ. Forever the champ. Once a champ, always a champ. Anyway, so Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker. I just watched the fight this morning. Doing a bit of Robin Black work. I'll be the analyst at the weekend on FS1. And Whittaker fucking pretty much destroyed him.
This is interesting, though. Hold on. Shannon just sent this, or Mike did. This is Robert Whittaker explains why he's happy to have never fought Michael Bisping. This is an interesting quote. In terms of fighting him from one fighter to another, there's a lot of respect in terms of wanting to fight each other. There would have been a lot of respect there and a lot of honor earned, but I'm happy not to have fought him just due to the fact that I've always watched him, and if I'm going to be honest with myself, I'm a bit of a fan of his, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's nice. See what I mean? Robert is a classy guy. He's a great guy, and obviously a very, very smart person. He's one of the people, for him to have that opinion of me, I mean, he's right on the money. I'm a great guy. You should be a fan and, all that good stuff. No, Robert's awesome. Anyone, if you hate on Robert Whittaker, then you're a bit of an asshole, because he's just like a nice guy. He's got a good sense of humor. He's laid back. He's chill. He fights his fucking heart out. He's great. He's awesome. He's not the fucking champ yet, though, but he's fucking awesome.
but God bless him.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, God bless him. I was about to say, but God bless him. That's great. If you listen to this podcast, you hear the God bless, you're fucked.
There's something about Romero, I don't know what it is. There's something about him with the amount of times that he's been caught, whether it's fighting dirty or I guess there was the issue with, it wasn't actually steroids. What did he get caught with, Romero?
He tested positive for steroids.
It was actually steroids.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. He had a steroid in his system, and he said it was a tainted supplement.
Right.
I don't buy that excuse. It's a classic. It's a go-to. And he tested positive. Anyway, talking about that last fight. But he had
some of those dirty... All right, sorry.
Oh, no, go on, what?
Well, I was going to say, he sort of had these dirty things. The Tim Kennedy thing. There's times when wasn't there other times he grabbed the cage?
He missed weight against Rockhold. Came in, God knows how many pounds
super
over.
Heavy. There's just something weirdly mentally weak there. I don't know what it is, right? There just seems to be something there where he just seems to be looking for, whether it's a shortcut or whatever it is, whereas it's the opposite with Robert Whittaker, where he's a guy who had some tough loss at 170 pounds against, look, Wonder Boy's one thing, but he lost to Court McGee, who, I mean, Jesus Christ, and then to move up to middleweight and to go 7-0 now at this point, that's super impressive, and I think that takes a certain amount of mental toughness, so I almost kind of give him the edge just because of that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at that on the screen. In December, Romero tested positive for a substance called ibutamoren, a growth hormone. This is a hard word. Secretagogue. I think I did that right. A growth hormone secretagogue. Whatever the fuck a growth hormone secretagogue is, right? That sounds expensive. That doesn't sound like the type of shit they're putting in supplements over the counter. Yeah. Okay, it is a receptor, growth hormone secretagogue receptor, GHSR, or ghrelin receptor, is a G protein coupled receptor that binds ghrelin and plays a role in energy homeostasis and regulation of body weight.
So that's who you want as your champion?
Makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
You want someone who uses a hormone secretagogue to be your champion, UFC. Really? Okay. You want a secretagogue abuser.
A secretagogue? Oh, my God.
A secretagogue abuser. That's what do you want me to say? Shame.
Shame. Shame, ding, ding, ding. Shame, ding, ding, ding. Remember when we got Romero to call into the radio show? Oh, my God. For anyone that didn't listen to the Countdown radio show, which I'm assuming is like a massive percentage of people right now, we got Romero to call in as a guest, and we just fucking ridiculed him. It was awesome.
It's on YouTube.
It was very funny.
You know what
is
we
it
should
on
do?
YouTube?
Fuck it. We own that shit. Harrington, go pull that from YouTube, from whoever has that, and put it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, put it on our YouTube channel. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, all right, let's talk about the fight. I honestly believed until this morning that Romero would win the rematch because against Rockhold, he talked about how losing to Whittaker was the best thing that ever happened to him, which I understand. When I lost fights, you learn more from your losses than you do victories. And so I kind of understood what he was saying. And I thought, and against Rockhold, Yoel looked a lot more patient and he wasn't really going for the takedowns as much. And I thought maybe he's just trying to take it easy because he had a shitty weight cut. But maybe he's realized going for all those takedowns all the time, because that's what he was trying to do against Whittaker. Takedown after takedown after takedown attempt that he wasn't successful with. And if he was successful, Whittaker would get right back to his feet. That's exhausting. And the longer the fight went on, Romero had nothing for him, and he wasn't even attempting to strike him. Halfway through the third round, fourth round, fifth round, Romero pretty much did nothing. He attempted some takedowns, which were unsuccessful. The takedown attempts got sloppier and sloppier because he was more and more tired, and it was just a vicious circle because he kept going for takedown attempts, which is one of the most energy-consuming things that you can do, but he didn't want to strike with him because he wasn't good enough, and he was too tired, so therefore he was too slow and had no explosion, so he kept going for the takedowns and getting more tired, and then that was just giving Whittaker more of an advantage, and he was getting further and further ahead. Now, of course, he was still dangerous to the end because he's a big, powerful motherfucker. But after watching that there, and when you realize that Romero is 40, maybe 41 now, I'm not sure, Whittaker is still very much in his prime. After watching how dominant that first fight was, I really don't see how Whittaker loses this fight. I really don't.
Yeah, 41 years old, Yoel Romero, soldier of God. Look, he's built like a brick shithouse, and he's terrifying. Yeah. That's just the truth. But without his hormone secret to Gogs, I don't know that he has the mental strength to get by Whittaker in this fight. And I think you're right, dude. I think it's almost like Romero, once you're not afraid of him, I almost feel like that's his big secret sauce. That the intimidation factor is kind of what makes people like, I don't know, maybe it's hold back. I don't know what it is, but if you kind of go at him like a couple of these guys have, I think Romero, you can kind of break him, and he does gas and he does slow down, and we've seen him lose a few fights because of that reason specifically.
Exactly. You just hit the nail on the head from what I was about to say. The thing is about Romero, especially without his secret to Gogs, that's going to be the name of this episode, Secret to Gogs. He's an intimidating guy. He's intimidating for a number of reasons. One, as you say, built like a brick shithouse. He's intimidating because his wrestling credentials are fucking ridiculous. He's intimidating because he can knock people out with punches, kicks, flying knees. He's incredibly explosive. Now, Whittaker went in there, no doubt, like all fighters, you believe in yourself, but of course you can't help but, have respect for who you're facing and being a little intimidated, for sure. But he's been in there. He beat him. He's had all that. So that intimidation factor is certainly out the window. He knows he gets tired. He knows he can stop his takedowns. He knows he can take his best shots. So therefore, again, that all plays into Whittaker being and new. Not and still, see your earlier point, and new middleweight champion of the world. I got Whittaker winning all day.
But still with an asterisk after it.
Pardon me?
And new asterisk middleweight
and
champion.
New asterisk, yeah. I mean, I'll still claim to be the champ. But, I think I've got Whittaker winning that one. I've got Dos Anjos winning the co-main event. Of course, I'm team Dos Anjos. Yeah. He trains with Perillo. I just think I think he can stop the wrestling. I think he's faster on the feet. He's more skillful. He's smarter, and he's got more experience. So I have Dos Anjos winning that. And, Bam Bam Tuivasa taking on, what's-his-face, Arlovsky. I love Arlovsky. Old school fighter, amazing fighter, one of the old, true pioneers, but Bam Bam hits like a goddamn truck. And if he connects with Arlovsky, he'll knock him out. So, there you go.
All right, that's this weekend, man. Very excited about the fights. I'm actually off Saturday night, so I could watch the entire fucking fight card. Which
Nice.
Is, pretty damn dope.
Should we do some questions?
Yeah, we'll get some questions. We'll wrap this one up. Oh, before this, no, I have to talk about this with you. This is so interesting.
Okay, I don't know what this is, so please.
One more.
Go on.
One more topic.
Go on.
The Andrea Lee topic. Okay, Andrea Lee. She's a.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about Nazis. Let's talk about swastikas. Let's talk about neo-Nazis.
Do we ignore this? We can't ignore this. This is a great topic.
I don't know because what's her name again?
Andrea Lee, who is
First of all, you sent me the link. UFC star Andrea Lee.
Yeah.
That's not accurate.
I didn't write that. They wrote it.
Perhaps she's on the UFC roster, but who did she fight last?
I don't know, but she did a great job. She was it was just a couple weeks ago. She wears the cowboy hat.
Oh, that's her, is it? Okay, all right. Fair enough.
She's a blonde chick from Texas, wears a cowboy hat, super cute, very marketable. I'm assuming the UFC kind of likes her. They were giving her a little bit of a push, I remember. That's all I kind of remember. And here, let me see. Who did she fight? She fought Veronica Macedo.
I don't see the swastika. Where do we see that?
Okay, so she took a picture with her and her husband right there on his forearm at a lake house. And apparently he's got a swastika tattoo. Really zoom in there, Shannon. Right on his forearm. Right where the meat of the forearm muscle is. Right
Put
there.
the cursor. Is that it there?
Yeah. She's circling it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I see it. Ooh. Well, that's not good.
I'm looking at her. I'm looking at Andrea Lee's fucking abs. Hello. Very nice.
A bit too skinny for me.
I like it. Why not? Anyway, so she tweets this out, and then people start freaking out, being like, you got a fucking neo-Nazi tattoo. So then she sort of defended it. Or not even sort of defended it. She tweeted out like, "Oh my God, guys, he got it in prison 20 years ago. Let's not be." What did she say? Just something like, "Let's not be babies."
Calm down, you sensitive mofos.
Yes.
Calm down, you sensitive mofos. It was only millions of people in the Holocaust that died. Okay, no big deal. Calm down.
Calm down, you sensitive ass mofos. Like, dude, it is. Now look, here's the deal. If it's a tattoo from 20 years ago, you can get it covered up. You simply can get it so easily.
That's a good point. That's a good point, actually. If he's changed his mind and his belief system, especially in something as powerful and something that resonates such emotion with people, like a fucking swastika on your forearm.
Yeah.
And it's not the biggest tattoo either. It's a small one in the corner. I thought it was the bigger one next to it. So he could get that covered up pretty easily, I would have thought. Or not even removed. Just colored in.
Cover it up. Do a black circle over it. Just cover it. Dude, I have a fucking tattoo that says Lou Dog on my arm that I got when I was 18. I covered it up with a flower. All right?
Yeah. My mate Blanky, he had a really bad tattoo. He covered it up as well. It was anyway, whatever. Neither one of us are racist, she says. We have an Asian and a black guy that live with us. Whoa. The fact that you say that, it's like, anyway, whatever. Oh my gosh, guys, it's a tattoo. Yeah, of a swastika.
Their apartment is like Rush Hour 3.
Oh my gosh, guys, it's a tattoo he got when he was in prison. Get over yourselves. Sounds like a lovely guy. He covers them up all the time, and we happen to have a late day, and it makes an appearance. Sensitive ass mofos.
And she's got a fucking cowboy hat on. She's from Texas. It's just not great.
So what did his face? You see that Jonathan Snowden, he chimed in, some MMA journalist.
What did he say?
I don't know. He gave her some shit, and they went back and forth a little bit. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of why I wasn't overly keen on talking about this. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to throw her under a bus?
Well, it's not throwing her under a bus.
Of course. Listen, men or anybody in this world should not be having swastika tattoos. It's as simple as that. And if you do, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest things that happened, and it wasn't even that long ago, what happened, World War II, the atrocities and the amount of people that died is absolutely disgusting. And to, I don't know, somewhat support that or commemorate that or whatever with a fucking swastika tattooed is just despicable. It really is. So
she put out a different statement. Hold on, let me read this because I guess she goes, "Please read my full apology. This is to everyone who was upset or offended by me and my initial response. I sincerely apologize. It wasn't thought out when I sent it. I deleted it immediately after I sent it, and I was more rational and clear-minded. Forgive me." So yeah, what happened was her agent fucking called her up and was like, "You idiot! What are you doing?" Divorce your Nazi
The
husband.
classic.
You have a UFC contract, you fucking fool.
Damage control, damage control, damage control. I don't know this guy. I just met him. You know, I didn't even see the swastika unless he had a good set of abs and a big schlong, and I was like, I'm all about this guy. You know, I didn't even know he had a swastika tattoo. My bad.
My bad. So listen, this is let's see. All right, ready? This is her full. Pull this up on the screen if you want to, Shannon. This is her full apology. It says, "My comments the day before were meant to just defend my husband, not his tattoo. I never intended to make light of the situation, the history of the symbol, or dismiss anyone that was offended. The mistakes he made in his youth are not a representation of who he is today, which is a man that loves and respects everyone. Donnie was my coach long before we got together. When I first met Donnie, I questioned him too about his tattoos, and he explained to me about his past and who he is now and how he had changed. The more I got to know him as a person, the less I noticed his skin. I'm truly sorry for responding the other day the way I did. If you think I don't care, I do. I'm not racist. I'm not a Nazi. I don't hate people, and neither does Donnie. I always believed in the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I personally try to live by this, and I tell my daughter that all the time. I also don't believe in hating a person for things that they have done to you or things they have done, period. If I don't like someone, I never say that I hate them or a person or anything. I just extremely dislike blah, 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 blah." She didn't really say anything else, by the way. It is a fucking long-ass boring... And she didn't even do anything. Get it covered up. That's all you got to do is get the fucking tattoo covered up.
Get it covered up. Say, listen, you're right. My boyfriend's a dick. My boyfriend's a piece of shit. He's obviously a fucking asshole. He probably killed a few people along the way. I don't like that guy already.
Yeah.
He's got a swastika. That says... I'm sorry, okay? Certain people, things... Now, you never judge a book by its cover, okay? That's fair enough. But when a guy has a swastika tattooed on him, go ahead and judge that book. You don't need to read that book. Simple as that. Cast it to one side and say, thank you, nice to meet you, stay out of my life.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, look, here's the other thing. I am also a firm believer in this, right? Because apparently maybe he went to jail for murder and domestic abuse.
100%.
People change. I do give people, and I also somebody
Second
could also
chance, of course, yeah.
Somebody could be young and fucking be in prison and get a Nazi tattoo and be like, dude, look, I had to pick a fucking team. You know, there's some shit we don't know about that world, right? No. When you get out, if you really feel that, you understand when somebody sees that, there's a visceral reaction, and what it's saying to them, whether you mean it or not, is fuck you, I hate you, and I hate your people. And it's not only it's not being misinterpreted, it's being interpreted exactly what it is. So you have to take responsibility for it, and she should take responsibility for it. She should be saying, hey, you know what? We didn't think about the impact that would have. It was so small. It was some kind of insignificant. And he was reminding himself of what a piece of shit that he used to be. There's a better way to position it, but she didn't even go that far. She's literally going like, yeah, it was an old thing. Toodaloo.
Yeah. You know, I mean, maybe, I don't know. That's why this is such a delicate topic to talk about, because, you know, there was so much suffering because of it. And that's why I said I didn't really want to get into it too much, because I don't know her, and I don't want to, I don't want her boyfriend being a fucking asshole to cause her too much trouble and us chiming in, you know.
Right.
Throw extra dirt on. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think she should fucking lose her job because she defends her husband. You know, it's not on her body. To be honest with you, you know, she knows him on a different level. Let's take it for face value. Let's say that he is a changed man and he's not a piece of shit, and this is just a stupid mishap, and he fucked up and should have gotten this thing covered and just never did it up. No matter what, I still think, like, look, you know, if somebody was fucking with my chick, even if she was wrong, I would kind of defend her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what you do for somebody you love.
Yep.
So I can't fault her.
So what's your point?
I don't think she should lose her job, or people should be calling, you know, for her UFC contract because she defends her husband and says, hey, like this is, it's not like she said.
For sure. So the interesting thing will be now then. So obviously there's all this backlash. It's become public. They've realized that perhaps, you know, let's say that isn't his belief system anymore. And if that's the case, and what they say, you take what they say and it's, you know, they're true to what they say, then sure. I'd like to see her post a picture with it covered up pretty soon.
Yeah.
If he doesn't cover it up, then obviously he does stand by it and his belief system.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
You know what I'm saying? In 2 days, he should be out there today booking a session at a tattoo parlor to have that covered up. And then in a couple of days, they should take a picture and show it. Hell, even get a fucking marker pen and just draw over it and take a picture. You know what I mean? If you're smart. But that's what they should be doing, because it's fucking disgusting. And as I say, this isn't really in the tone of the Believe You Me podcast. That's why I wasn't overly keen on discussing it. You know, it's yeah. I don't know. It's a shitty subject.
It really is. Yeah, I guess he says it's removing them is impossible. You can cover them up, and he also he once killed a black man in his driveway, according to MiddleEasy.com.
He's not racist at all. He once killed a black man in his driveway. He has a swastika tattoo.
He's not racist.
Not racist.
But there's an Asian guy and
we
a
have
black
a black guy and an Asian that live with us. You don't have any Jews, do you?
He's also got an SS tattoo still in there. I mean, you can get these all covered up.
An SS tattoo?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So he's one of these neo-Nazi types, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
these people even exist in America.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's kind of crazy.
I don't understand it. Just don't understand it. I guess it's a prison thing, right? I mean, I don't know much about the system. Maybe I need to read a book on it or something. But yeah, there seems to be a neo-Nazi population in this country, which is shocking, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, what are you going to do? Let's get some questions going.
Well done for inserting that heavy topic, Lewis. I appreciate that. Let's go.
Hold on. I'm not trying to fucking. We have a lot of fans. Maybe some of them are neo-Nazis. I'm not trying to be an asshole and have them turn off the podcast.
Full opportunities. Fair enough.
All right, let's get some questions. If you guys want to join the conversation, bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com is the email address. BYM for Believe You Me at gasdigitalnetwork.com. Shoot us an email. We always answer a few questions to end every show. I will also say right now, fuckfaces, we've been killing it on iTunes lately, Michael Bisping. Go to iTunes right now. Leave us a 5-star ranking, positive review. Tell your friends about Believe You Me. We are, I'm not going to name names, but I think that we are undoubtedly the funniest, most, I can't even think of the word. We're the best MMA podcast on the planet. I think we have the best dynamic out of anybody, whether we're on Skype or in person. Doesn't fucking matter. This is what we do. So let your friends know about the show, and we will keep on delivering you guys great, amazing podcasts every single week.
Yeah, please do. And, we see the comments and we truly appreciate them. And if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be growing. And we are growing significantly, and that's amazing. And I agree, Lewis. I think we have a great show. And, we don't take ourselves too seriously, of course. That's not our show. Rogan's amazing, but he's like, current affairs, all that type of stuff. It's a very different feel of podcast. This is two guys talking about fights, having a laugh.
Yeah, look, it's great. Rogan's great. If you want to go and fucking sit down,
Rogan's amazing.
Like a science class, like a long science class. You're like, all right, I'm learning right now. This is fun. Let's take some Adderall, focus for a little bit. We're like a roller coaster ride. It's a little bit of a different feel.
Yeah, much like my head right now. I need to take some ibuprofen. I've got a killer headache. Driving me crazy.
Quick questions then. Let's do it quickly. All right, ready? Here we go. This is from Joel Velencourt. Wants to know, hey, Mike, longtime listener, big fan. Just wanted to thank you for getting to see your whole career and being a dude who is real and genuine. Also, thank you for being accessible, as you have answered a few of my questions before in earlier episodes. That's only because not that many people were writing in. My question, now that you're retired, what is something that you've always wanted to do but never could because you were busy as fuck from being a fighter? Are you going to plant a tomato garden, travel to Antarctica, learn to speak a new language, blah, 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 blah? Yeah, that's a good question. Anything that you could never do before that you're now going to do?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, from when I decided to become a fighter, it had to be all or nothing, so it doesn't really leave much time for other things, and I missed children's birthdays. I missed all kinds of stuff, but no regrets, it was all worthwhile. But now this is another reason why I was comfortable to retire and step away when I did. I'm busier now than what I ever have been. It used to be in between fights, I didn't really have much to do. I mean, what can you do? Go shopping, go out for lunch. It kind of becomes boring, and then you're just itching for a fight again. These days, my schedule is crazy. It really is. I mean, we're doing this right now. Wednesday, I got UFC tonight, and then I got Tough Talk. Friday, I'm working as an analyst Friday and Saturday. Then I fly up to Boston. I'm there for a day. Then I come back to Vegas. I'm working for the UFC there on something. It's non-stop. Plus, I've got Playline. I've got UFC gyms. I've got acting career on the side. I've got all kinds of shit going on, not to mention Believe You Me. So to be honest, as of right now, I'm busier than ever. That's why we sat down and pinpointed a few days and booked that trip to Montana, because my diary fills up pretty fast. But Joel, right, Lewis? Joel? Yeah, Joel, thank you very much for the for the question and the comments. I really appreciate that. There is things I want to do. I don't know. I mean, I would like to do some courses, but I just don't have time. I want to improve as a human being, get better, learn more things, acquire new skills.
Acting.
But I just don't have time.
That's what you got. You're not going to be honest with you, what you should do, because I know you really want to act, and that's something that you really.
Yeah, well, no, I've been going to acting school and acting class, and I still do that now. So
Even my
I'm going
friends
to put a
who
lot
are-
of time into honing my craft. One thing I am doing that I'm being proactive because I just didn't have time. I have hired a dialect coach to nail my American accent, because the majority of things I go for and audition for, they are American accent stuff, and it's a little bit shaky. So but then you forget about it, and then you get an audition, and then you start doing it again for a day or two. What you have to do is be proactive in anything. So hired a coach. Hopefully soon I'll be able to fucking nail it, Lewis.
That was pretty good. Well, how about you answer the next question in your American accent?
No. Just in case anyone that wants to hire me for something is listening and like, I thought he might have been able to do an accent. He definitely can't.
This is from Darren in Cumbria, UK. That's right.
Nice. Cumbria, not too far from where I'm from. Does it say whereabouts in Cumbria?
Yeah, 425 Main Street.
Know it well. Yeah. Say hi to... Question, please, Lewis.
If you get inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame next summer with Vitor, will you make up now that it's all said and done, or will you call him a cunt and kick him in the face?
I wouldn't call him a cunt. I wouldn't kick him in the face, but I won't be burying the hatch. I mean, I don't have ill will towards the guy. I don't have ill will towards him, but I have no respect for him as a person. Somebody that can cheat that much and take that many steroids throughout their career, but then have the audacity to preach at people, I don't respect. So, if I see him, I'll say hi. That's about it. But I've got no interest in exchanging numbers and perhaps forming a friendship.
All right, last question. Hey, y'all, my name is Nico Patriso. I am a sophomore at Xavier University. Huge fan of both.
Nico Patriso.
That guy.
That's a cool name.
Sounds like he fucking is.
Oh, it's a guy?
Yeah, Nico Patriso. Sounds like an Italian guy, right? Sounds like
a girl.
He's got made of fucking meatballs for brains. Huge fan of both of you. I started to be a fan of Bisping during the press conferences for UFC 217. Now I've gone back and watched all of your fights. Ironically enough, I was wearing your champion jersey when you announced your retirement. Lewis, you're funny as fuck. Thanks. Let's see. First question, stupid. So I'm going to go to the second question.
What was the first stupid question? I won't answer it, but I want to know what it was.
People have asked similar things to this before. Do you think Rogan would have been competitive in the UFC if you've seen a video of him training with TJ Dillashaw? Look at it. A lot of people say Rogan kicks really fucking hard. And I think Rogan would have been competitive in the early days of UFC 100%. The guy knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, black belt, Taekwondo, black belt, can strike and do. Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah, 100%. It's a no-brainer. And, of course, he's very knowledgeable on the fight game. Go on then. So what was the question you wanted to ask?
Personally, I'd hate to see GSP fight Khabib. It would be the biggest wrestlefuck ever. I don't necessarily hate boring fights, but wars are definitely better. So that's not a question. That's just saying his opinion.
A statement. Okay. Yeah, I agree, actually. And I don't think GSP is going to take that fight. GSP gains nothing out of taking on Khabib.
No. To be honest, he'll probably lose to Khabib.
No, I don't know about that, prick. I'm just saying I don't think he gains anything from that.
I think
for me, obviously, he gained becoming middleweight champion and 2 weight classes. And all right, Khabib is the champion, but he's going to go down to his weight class and all that type of stuff.
Well, that's why I think.
I don't see that fight happening, and I don't think he wants it anyway. But what was the question?
The third one. This is just said, Harrington. Why would you even send this? This is more of a favor. Do you think you could hook me up with some tickets for UFC in LA? TJ is my favorite fighter, and I'm getting tickets for my brother's high school graduation. So if you could help, that would mean the world.
Yeah. You're going to get those tickets right after that guy gets his copy of the video game. See an episode from 2 weeks ago. Sorry, guys. If I could, I would. But yeah, Ticketmaster.com. There you go, buddy. So yeah, I believe we're at the end of the episode.
That's it.
UFC 225 this weekend. Check it out. We'll break it all down on Monday. Yeah, good stuff as always. I've got a terrible headache. My voice is failing me. And it's time to wrap this up.
All right, there we go. Great way to end it. Very positive. take some Adderall, focus for a little bit. We're like a roller coaster ride. It's a little bit of a different feel.
Yeah, much like my head right now. I need to take some ibuprofen. I've got a killer headache. Driving me crazy.
Quick questions then. Let's do it quickly. All right, ready? Here we go. This is from Joel Velencourt. Wants to know, hey, Mike, longtime listener, big fan. Just wanted to thank you for getting to see your whole career and being a dude who is real and genuine. Also, thank you for being accessible as you have answered a few of my questions before in earlier episodes. That's only because not that many people were writing in. My question, now that you're retired, what is something that you've always wanted to do but never could because you were busy as fuck from being a fighter? Are you going to plant a tomato garden, travel to Antarctica, learn to speak a new language, blah, 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 blah? Yeah, that's a good question. Anything that you could never do before that you're now going to do?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, from when I decided to become a fighter, it had to be all or nothing, so it doesn't really leave much time for other things, and I missed children's birthdays. I missed all kinds of stuff, but no regrets, it was all worthwhile. But now this is another reason why I was comfortable to retire and step away when I did. I'm busier now than what I ever have been. It used to be in between fights, I didn't really have much to do. I mean, what can you do? Go shopping, go out for lunch. It kind of becomes boring, and then you're just itching for a fight again. These days, my schedule is crazy. It really is. I mean, we're doing this right now. Wednesday, I got UFC tonight, and then I got Tough Talk. Friday, I'm working as an analyst Friday and Saturday. Then I fly up to Boston. I'm there for a day. Then I come back to Vegas. I'm working for the UFC there on something. It's non-stop. Plus, I've got Playline. I've got UFC gyms. I've got acting career on the side. I've got all kinds of shit going on, not to mention Believe You Me. So to be honest, as of right now, I'm busier than ever. That's why we sat down and pinpointed a few days and booked that trip to Montana, because my diary fills up pretty fast. But Joel, right, Lewis? Joel?
Yeah, Joel.
Yeah, Joel, thank you very much for the for the question and the comments. I really appreciate that. There is things I want to do. I don't know. I mean, I would like to do some courses, but I just don't have time. I want to improve as a human being, get better, learn more things, acquire new skills.
Acting.
But I just don't have time.
That's what you got. You're not going to be honest with you, what you should do, because I know you really want to act, and that's something that you really...
Yeah, well, no, I've been going to acting school and acting class, and I still do that now. So
even
I'm going to put a lot of time into honing my craft. One thing I am doing that I'm being proactive because I just didn't have time. I have hired a dialect coach to nail my American accent, because the majority of things I go for and audition for, they are American accent stuff, and it's a little bit shaky. So but then you forget about it, and then you get an audition, and then you start doing it again for a day or two. What you have to do is be proactive in anything. So hired a coach. Hopefully soon I'll be able to fucking nail it, Lewis.
That was pretty good. Well, how about you answer the next question in your American accent?
No. Just in case anyone that wants to hire me for something is listening and like, I thought he might have been able to do an accent. He definitely can't.
This is from Darren in Cumbria, UK. That's right.
Nice. Cumbria, not too far from where I'm from. Does it say whereabouts in Cumbria?
Yeah, 425 Main Street.
Know it well. Yeah. Say hi to... Question, please, Lewis.
If you get inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame next summer with Vitor, will you make up now that it's all said and done, or will you call him a cunt and kick him in the face?
I wouldn't call him a cunt. I wouldn't kick him in the face, but I won't be burying the hatch. I mean, I don't have ill will towards the guy. I don't have ill will towards him, but I have no respect for him as a person. Somebody that can cheat that much and take that many steroids throughout their career, but then have the audacity to preach at people, I don't respect. So, if I see him, I'll say hi. That's about it. But, I've got no interest in exchanging numbers and perhaps forming a friendship.
All right, last question. Hey, y'all, my name is Nico Patriso. I am a sophomore at Xavier University. Huge fan of both.
Nico Patriso.
That guy.
That's a cool name.
Sounds like he fucking is.
Oh, it's a guy?
Yeah, Nico Patriso. Sounds like an Italian guy, right? Sounds like
a girl.
He's got made of fucking meatballs for brains. Huge fan of both of you. I started to be a fan of Bisping during the press conference for UFC 217. Now I've gone back and watched all of your fights. Ironically enough, I was wearing your champion jersey when you announced your retirement. Lewis, you're funny as fuck. Thanks. Let's see. First question, stupid. So I'm going to go to the second question.
What was the first stupid question? I won't answer, but I want to know what it was.
People have asked similar things to this before. Do you think Rogan would have been competitive in the UFC if you see a video of him training with TJ Dillashaw? Look at it. A lot of people say Rogan like kicks really fucking hard, and I think Rogan would have been competitive in the early days of UFC 100%. The guy who knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, black belt, Taekwondo, black belt, can strike and do. Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah, 100%. It's a no-brainer, and of course, he's very knowledgeable on the fight game. Go on then. So, what was the question you wanted to ask?
Personally, I'd hate to see GSP fight Khabib. It would be the biggest wrestlefuck ever. I don't necessarily hate boring fights, but wars are definitely better. So that's not a question. That's just saying his opinion.
A statement. Okay, yeah, I agree actually, and I don't think GSP is going to take that fight. GSP gains nothing out of taking on Khabib.
No, to be honest, he'll probably lose to Khabib.
No, I don't know about that, prick. I'm just saying I don't think he gains anything from that.
I think
for me, obviously, he gained becoming middleweight champion and 2 weight classes. And all right, Khabib is the champion, but he's going to go down to his weight class and all that type of stuff.
Well, that's why I think
I don't see that fight happening, and I don't think he wants it anyway. But what was the question?
The third one. This is just sad. Harrington, why would you even send this? This is more of a favor. Do you think you could hook me up with some tickets for UFC in LA? TJ is my favorite fighter, and I'm getting tickets for my brother's high school graduation. So if you could help, that would mean the world.
Yeah. You're going to get those tickets right after that guy gets his copy of the video game. See an episode from 2 weeks ago. Sorry, guys. If I could, I would. But yeah, Ticketmaster.com. There you go, buddy. So yeah, I believe we're at the end of the episode.
That's it.
UFC 225 this weekend. Check it out. We'll break it all down on Monday. Yeah, good stuff as always. I've got a terrible headache. My voice is failing me. And it's time to wrap this up.
All right, there we go. Great way to end it. Very positive. Fighter, and I'm getting tickets for my brother's high school graduation. So if you could help, that would mean the world.
Yeah. You're going to get those tickets right after that guy gets his copy of the video game. See an episode from 2 weeks ago. Sorry, guys. If I could, I would. But yeah, Ticketmaster.com. There you go, buddy. So yeah. I believe we're at the end of the episode.
That's it.
UFC 225 this weekend. Check it out. We'll break it all down on Monday. Yeah, good stuff as always. I've got a terrible headache. My voice is failing me. And it's time to wrap this up.
All right, there we go. Great way to end it. Very positive. Great way to end it. Very positive.